There is a huge debate between philosophers between free will versus determinism, and it's really interesting. Free will is the idea that we have some choice in the way we act, and assumes that we are free to choose our behavior. Whereas determinism is the idea that the past and the laws of nature dictate exactly how things will happen in the future. I feel like regardless of where you stand on this topic, most of the human population will want to have free will. I mean, pretty much everyone wants to make their own choices in life and not have everything just predetermined for them. Why am I telling you this? Because spectators in Magic are pretty much the same way. They want to interact with your card trick. They want choices on where their card is going to be, what card they're going to select, and so on and so forth. That's what I got for you today, the card trick of free will. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. If you're joining me for the first time, hi, my name is Vineet, and I go by CardMechanic here on YouTube. The card trick that I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to provide your spectator with a lot more choices than they're used to. And the cool part is, each choice will lead to a different outcome. But before we get started, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, as it really helps me out. Now grab your deck of cards and let's get started. Oh, and if you don't have a deck of cards, just go to your neighbor's place, knock on their door. I'm sure they have a deck of cards, borrow it, you're all good. Let's do this. Alright guys, so check this out, and because you always ask, today we'll be using the Knights by Daniel Madison and Chris Ramsey. Now, as I mentioned, this trick relies solely on free will, but there are a few things that are predetermined, like these 6 cards that I'm picking out and putting on over to the side. This is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you'll see what they are in a minute. But aside from that, I'll just quickly go ahead and shuffle up the deck, because sometimes we just need a good shuffling. All right, once that's done, we'll have a card selected by a spectator. Let's just say this card right over here. I want you to do your best and remember it, all right? Once you got that memorized, we'll take that card and leave it somewhere right in the center like this, and I'll give the deck a couple of cuts as well to seal the deal. Now, here, as I mentioned, I have a couple of cards, and these cards are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I want you to go ahead and just think of any one of these cards. Think of any one of these cards between 5 and 10. Hopefully you got one selected, and we're gonna make it completely random so it doesn't seem like, I'm doing anything super crazy. Let's just say this card right over here. Now, I have no idea what this is. You could have picked this number completely at random, and the number that you selected is the number 7. Check this out. This is actually pretty wild, because if we count down 7 cards, I would have given it to you for you to count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th card, are you ready for this, is your card, the Joker. Hey there, very glad to see that you stuck around for the tutorial. Just to give you a little bit of background on this effect, it is known as Fidgety Digit by Temple Patton. I think it's a very nice, simple, almost self-working card trick that's perfect if you're just getting into Magic. But even if you have been doing Magic for a while, I think this would be a great one to add to your repertoire. So, given all that info, let's go ahead and break it down. First things first, we gotta take the cards right out of the tuck case. And there are a few setup components that I'll be talking about, but I think I want to give you the overall theme first. I want to kind of play this off as free will versus determinism, like I was talking about in the beginning of this video. So I have the 6 cards on top that you saw. There were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So when I take these cards off the top in the beginning, I just say that there are some things that are in life that are predetermined. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I don't know, maybe you can make a joke saying death and taxes are, always predetermined. It's gonna happen all the time, every time. But anyway, I take these 6 cards off the top, put them on over to the side. I don't show them to the spectator just yet. And this is how the rest of the deck should be set up. So you're going to need to pull an 8 and a 9. Luckily, I have those right over there. You want to take the 9, put it face up on the bottom like this, and then take the 8, put it face down right underneath the 9. So if we take a quick glimpse at the deck, we have the 9 right over here, and underneath the 9 we have the 8 facing the same direction as the rest of the deck. So whenever you're doing any kind of handling, just be sure that you don't flash the 9. Now that you're all set and ready to go, of course, you pull out the deck from the tuck case. You say I have these 6 cards predetermined, put them over to the side, don't show them to the spectator just yet. And then what I like to do in this situation is give the deck a false shuffle, but I control the bottom 2 cards, or a bottom pack of cards. And I believe I do have a video on this. I'll put a link to it on the screen and description. But the way this is pretty much working is I am, let me actually see if I can give you a better angle. So what I'm doing here is tossing over cards, just pretty much doing a normal overhand shuffle. And when I get to my bottom packet of maybe say between 5 to 10 cards, I throw it a bit further up, right? So if you take a look here, it's a bit further up than the rest of the deck. So when I go to grab now, I kind of push up on this packet here that's sticking out, grab the rest of the deck, let this packet fall over, and continue doing an overhand shuffle. This way I kind of shuffle up the deck while maintaining the bottom 2 cards. All right, now that that's done, we have a spectator go ahead and select a card. And in our case, it is the Jack of Clubs. What I would say at this point is hand this over to the spectator and have them show it to the audience. If you're a beginner in card magic, you would need this type of misdirection to kind of hide what move you're about to do next. But if you are a pro or like high level intermediate or an intermediate, you will have to do a pinky count at this point. And you're going to be counting off 6 cards. So it's not like a normal pinky count where it's like 1 card, 2 cards. You're going to be counting off 3, 4, 5, 6 cards right off the top, and you will have that card returned there, okay? So what I would recommend, as you know, as I mentioned, this is more tailored towards beginners in this case, but again, intermediate, advanced folks, feel free to do the pinky count. But as they're showing off this card to the spectator, you're going to take, again, 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, push them back together, and get a pinky break right underneath all 6, because this is where the card will need to be returned. So once the spectator is done showing it to everyone, pick up this packet and make it seem like you're picking up a fairly decent sized packet, not a packet of 6. So I'd recommend coming over like this, picking it up like so, showing off the deck, say put it over here, and make it seem like you're picking up from a random spot. So just place the card right over here, they go ahead and do that, then you do this. Now, to kind of sell the effect a little bit more, I do one more false cut where I take the cards like this and boom, false cut. I'm not gonna go into a full tutorial for that, but I have another video on false cuts that you can check out. The link will be on the screen and description as per the usual. Once this is done, you can put the deck over to the side and come back to these cards. And this is something that I'm still kind of experimenting with to see what would work best. So if you have any ideas, please feel free to share them in the comments down below. So here, like I said, I have 6 cards, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And they're technically supposed to represent each outcome for this trick. So ideally, my whole idea is to say, I want you to pick any number between 5 and 10. Now the thing is, they have to pick a number between 5 and 10. They cannot pick 5, they cannot pick 10. But generally, if you say between 5 and 10, it's very rare that people pick 5 or 10, and if they do end up picking a 5 or a 10, you can just say, I said between 5 and 10, and then they narrow down to these 4 cards. But the reason I'm doing 6 is just to show that you have a bit more free will in this card trick. So since there are 4 choices on what the spectator can select, there are actually 4 different outcomes for this trick, and check it out. We'll walk through each one at a time. So let's say they picked the number 6, all right? So 6 right here, I'll put it on over the side so you don't forget. The card is actually in the 7th location, so you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you would show the next card, which will be their Jack of Clubs. If it's the same thing that happened in my performance, let's say they choose a 7, of course you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's their card. And what I would recommend actually doing in this whole thing is having the spectator do this, right? So once they have their card selected, if it's 6, you can have them deal 6, take a look at the next card. If it's 7, you can do the same thing. And you may even be able to do the same thing with 8. We're not sure. Let's take a look. Going through the 3rd case, they pick the number 8. Now, we can take this and look at the bottom of the deck. On the bottom of the deck, we see an 8. So we can say that their card will be in the 8th position. And while you say this, you want to turn this face down, take this 8, put it on top of the deck, and then you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And lastly, we have the 9. I would have to say the 9 is definitely my favorite one to do. 9 and 7. I think those two work pretty perfectly. So we have 9 selected. What's going to happen is you're going to ask the spectator to give the deck a cut after the 9 has been selected. Cut given. Okay, now what? Here's where it gets cool. Now you can kind of spread out the deck like so, and we see that there's a 9 face up right over here. Oh my god, it's pure magic. But since the 9 is here, you can count 9 cards, including the 9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and take a look at the 9th card, it again is the spectator's selected card. How about that, huh? One card trick, 4 different outcomes. And the best part of the card trick is that it's very simple to do once you have the deck set up. If you want to see another card trick where the spectator has tons of choices and the outcome is just as incredible, if not even more incredible, make sure to check that video out right over there. And a bonus in learning that card trick is that it'll make you look like a true card mechanic. It's unbelievable. That's all I got. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Have a great day ahead, and I'll see you really soon. Or maybe in that video.